Afghanistan Mountains, 2012. Sergeant Frank Morrison gave his last MRE to an Afghan translator's starving kids. 3 children under 7 hadn't eaten in 4 days. Frank was on day 3 of a mission. No resupply coming for 48 hours. But those kids needed food more than he did. The translator asked why. Frank said, "Because I signed up for this. They didn't." 2 weeks later, that translator saved Frank's life, warned him about an ambush, took a bullet meant for Frank, died in his arms. Frank made a promise that day: help people who can't help themselves, especially the invisible ones, especially the forgotten. 12 years later, Frank was the invisible one, the forgotten one, and a waitress reminded him that promises go both ways. Frank Morrison sat on a bench outside Riley's Diner in Nashville. December 2024. Cold, wet. He'd been homeless for 8 months. Lost his apartment when his disability check got delayed. Bureaucracy, red tape. VA failing veterans like always. By the time the check came through, he'd been evicted. No landlord would rent to him after that. Eviction on his record, no references, no credit, so he lived on the streets, slept in shelters when there was room, under bridges when there wasn't. 53 years old, 22 years in the Army, 3 tours in Afghanistan, Purple Heart, Bronze Star, honorable discharge. None of it mattered on the streets. Out here, he was just another homeless guy, invisible. It was 6 p.m. dinner rush. Frank watched people go in and out of Riley's Diner. Families, couples, people laughing, eating, living normal lives. His stomach growled. He hadn't eaten since yesterday morning. Stale donuts from a church handout. He had $4 in change in his pocket. Not enough for a meal at Riley's. Maybe enough for coffee and toast. Maybe. He stood up, walked to the door, stopped. Through the window, he could see the warm lights, the people, the food. He looked down at himself. Dirty coat. Unwashed for a week. Torn jeans. Boots held together with duct tape. He didn't belong in there, but he was so hungry. He opened the door, walked in. Every head turned, stared, judged. Frank felt their eyes, the disgust, the fear, the way people look at homeless vets like they're dangerous, like they're less than human. He almost turned around, almost left. Then a voice called out, "Sir, sit anywhere you'd like." A young woman, waitress, maybe 25, smiling at him like he was a regular customer. Not like he was homeless, like he was human. Frank sat at a booth in the back, tried to make himself small, invisible. The waitress came over. Name tag said Lisa. "What can I get you?" she asked, her voice kind, genuine. "Just coffee," Frank said, "and maybe toast, if that's okay." "Absolutely," Lisa said. "Be right back." She walked away. Frank looked at the menu, saw the prices. Coffee was $2.50. Toast was $1.50. He had $4.17. Just enough. Barely. Lisa came back with coffee. "On the house," she said. Frank looked up. "What?" "The coffee. It's on me. You don't have to." "I know," Lisa said, "but I want to." She paused. "Are you hungry? I mean, really hungry?" Frank's pride screamed at him to say no, but his stomach won. "Yes, ma'am." "When's the last time you ate?" "Yesterday morning." Lisa nodded. "Give me a few minutes." She walked away. Came back 10 minutes later with a full plate. Meatloaf, mashed potatoes, green beans, cornbread, a full meal. Frank stared. "I can't afford this." "It's taken care of," Lisa said. "What?" "My manager said it's on the house. We feed people who need it. No charge." Frank felt tears coming. Fought them back. "Why?" "Because everyone deserves a hot meal," Lisa said. "Especially on a cold night. Eat, please." Frank ate. First real meal in 3 days. He took his time. Savored every bite. When he finished, Lisa came back. "Can I get you anything else? Pie? More coffee?" Frank shook his head. This was more than enough. "Thank you." "You're welcome," Lisa said. She sat down across from him. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. Are you a veteran?" Frank nodded. "How'd you know?" "My dad was Army," Lisa said. I can always tell. Thank you for your service. Frank had heard that phrase 1,000 times, usually from people who didn't mean it. But Lisa meant it. He could tell. What branch? Army. Sergeant. 22 years. That's amazing, Lisa said. Where are you staying tonight? Frank looked down. Wherever I can find. It's supposed to drop below freezing tonight, Lisa said. That's not safe. There's a veterans shelter 3 blocks from here. St. Mary's. They have beds, hot showers, breakfast in the morning. You should go. I've been, Frank said. They're full. Every shelter's full this time of year. Lisa pulled out her phone, made a call. Hey, Sarah, it's Lisa. Yeah. Do you have any beds tonight? Pause. What about the emergency overflow? Another pause. Okay, I'm sending someone over. His name is Frank. He's a vet. Take care of him, please. She hung up. They'll have a bed for you. Emergency overflow room. Go there tonight. Ask for Sarah. She's expecting you. Frank couldn't speak, just nodded. Lisa stood up. You take care of yourself, she said. And Frank, come back anytime. You're always welcome here. She walked away. Frank sat there for 5 minutes, processing, then he left. Walked to St. Mary's. They had a bed waiting, hot shower, clean clothes. First time in weeks he felt human. 6 months passed. Frank stayed at St. Mary's, got into a VA housing program, found an apartment. Small, clean, his. Started therapy for PTSD. Got his medication sorted out. Started applying for jobs, got rejected, over and over. Age, gap in employment, homeless history. No one wanted to hire a 53-year-old vet with 8 months of homelessness on his record. But he kept trying. Then one day a call came. Construction company. They hired vets, gave second chances, wanted to interview him. Frank got the job, started the next week. 6 months later, he was a foreman. Good money, benefits, respect. He'd rebuilt his life, but he never forgot that night at Riley's Diner. Never forgot Lisa. Never forgot the meal that reminded him he was human. One evening after work, Frank drove to Riley's, parked outside, sat in his truck for 10 minutes. He was wearing a suit. First suit he'd owned in a decade. Bought it for a company event. Wanted to look professional. He walked into the diner. Same warm lights, same smells, different clothes, different man. Lisa was working. She didn't recognize him at first. Then she did a double take. Walked over. Sir, can I help you? Hi, Lisa, Frank said. She stared, trying to place him. It's me, Frank. Frank Morrison. You gave me a meal 6 months ago. When I was homeless. Her eyes went wide. Frank? Oh my God. Frank? She hugged him, right there in the middle of the diner. Started crying. You're okay. You're alive. I'm okay, Frank said. Thanks to you. They sat in the same booth. Frank told her everything. The shelter, the apartment, the therapy, the job, the new life. You did all that, Lisa said. Not me. You gave me hope, Frank said. That night, I was ready to give up. I'd been on the streets for 8 months, felt invisible, felt worthless. Then you saw me, treated me like a person, fed me, helped me, reminded me I mattered. That changed everything. Lisa wiped her eyes. I just gave you a meal. You gave me more than that, Frank said. You gave me my dignity back. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. What's this? Open it. Lisa opened it. Inside a check. $5,000. Frank, I can't take this. Yes, you can, he said. You spent maybe $15 on that meal. This is what that meal became, what it grew into. This is me paying forward what you gave me. But it's too much. It's not enough, Frank said. You saved my life. This is the least I can do. Lisa started crying again. There's more, Frank said. My company is hiring. We need good people. People with heart. People who care. I told my boss about you, about what you did for me. He wants to offer you a job. Office manager, $45,000 a year. Benefits, if you want it. Lisa stared at him. I have a job. I know, Frank said. But do you have a career? Do you have benefits? Retirement? A future? Lisa was quiet. This is real? Completely real, Frank said. You helped me when I had nothing. Now I want to help you build something. You don't owe me anything. I owe you everything, Frank said. Let me do this. Please. 3 months later, Lisa started her new job, left waitressing, started building a career, used the $5,000 to pay off debt, started saving, started dreaming. 1 year after that, she bought her first house, small, starter home, but hers. She invited Frank to the housewarming. He came, brought a gift, a framed photo, the two of them at Riley's diner, taken by the manager the day Frank came back in his suit. On the back an inscription, 1 meal, 2 lives changed, infinite ripples. Thank you for seeing me. Frank. Lisa hung it in her living room, a reminder that kindness compounds, that $15 can change a life, that seeing someone who feels invisible is the most powerful thing you can do. 5 years later, Lisa was operations manager, making $70,000 a year. She started a program at the company, hired 5 homeless veterans, gave them jobs, training, second chances, just like Frank gave her. One of those vets came to her office one day, crying, thanking her. You saved my life, he said. I was ready to give up, but you gave me a chance. I didn't save you, Lisa said. Someone saved me once. I'm just passing it forward. That's what we do. 10 years after that night at Riley's diner, Frank stood at a podium. Company anniversary event. 300 employees. He was VP of operations now. Lisa was director of human resources. Both of them built careers, built lives, built futures, all from 1 meal. Frank told the story. The cold night, the hunger, the shame, the waitress who saw him, the meal that changed everything. When you're homeless, Frank said, you become invisible. People look through you, past you, around you, but never at you. Lisa looked at me, saw me, treated me like a human being, fed me when I was hungry, helped me when I was lost, and that choice created this. He gestured to the room, the company, the employees, the success. I hired 73 veterans in 10 years. Every one of them was homeless. Every one of them got a second chance. And every one of them exists in this company because a waitress spent $15 on a stranger. That's the power of kindness. It multiplies, it compounds, it never stops. The room stood, applauded. Lisa was crying. After the event, she found Frank. I just gave you a meal, she said. You gave me everything. You gave me hope, Frank said, in a moment when I had none. And hope is worth more than money, worth more than anything. She hugged him. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for seeing me, Frank said. Here's what Frank and Lisa learned. Kindness is an investment. Lisa invested $15 in a homeless stranger. That investment returned $5,000, then returned a career, then returned a house, then returned 73 jobs for homeless veterans, then returned hope for hundreds of families. $15 became millions of dollars in economic impact, all because a waitress chose to see someone invisible. Your $15, your free meal, your moment of kindness. You have no idea what you're creating, what lives you're changing, what futures you're building. So give the meal, see the invisible, help the stranger, because you're not just feeding one person, you're investing in a future that,